use your ears. I see I forgot my neckerchief. Where is it? Yeah, and I was nearly about to give up music production. Hello fella, I'm Slithendor, greetings from Dieburg, and in today's video I wanna tell you everything about my newest song release. I released my latest song called Resurrect on August 26, 2021, and therefore I'd like to talk with you about the story behind my song. Yeah, my latest single actually has a deep and more detailed background story that I wanna tell you today. Also, I'm gonna upload a making of video on my YouTube channel then on Sunday, tomorrow. Today is Saturday and tomorrow is Sunday, so tomorrow will be the making of. And this making of I will show you everything about the music project. Let me tell you the story behind my latest single, Resurrect. It is such a deep story that I even wrote a script for my latest video. Let's go. So, everything started in 2018. This was the time where I wasn't able to produce new music for some reason. I had something like a burnout and an enormous writer's block. I actually have no idea what the reason is, but in the years before I already struggled with my music productions. Every time when I finished my newest tracks that I show them, for example, to my relatives, I was getting criticized for my music because there was, for example, not enough bass, or there were too many sound elements, and that I need to design my songs more in a more minimalistic way. But I didn't want to make them more minimalistic because I like the way how I design my tracks. Yeah. But to be honest, I wasn't really happy with the results of my songs. These were songs that I personally wouldn't play on a DJ festival or something like this. In the beginning, I was like, hey, that project sounds very cool so far. But when I came to the mixing and mastering stage, I always had problems to achieve a good mix and master. I was very careful with the choice of plugins and effects. I was just using an EQ on every single track and maybe a reverb back then. That's it. And on the master track, just a limiter, nothing more. Of course, I watched a lot of tutorials on YouTube how to achieve a better mix and master. But every single tutorial tells me something different somehow. Mostly it said that you have to use your ears. Then there is the case one tutorial tells me that I need to set an EQ before a compressor, and the other tutorial said something different, says the complete opposite. Nowadays I know that every mixing engineer has his own way to mix a song. Every person has to find out what's the best for him. Okay, it was the time I also produced 2 songs, and I let these 2 songs mixed and mastered by a professional audio engineer who makes this profession for more than 20 years already. And after that I needed to realize that these songs still don't sound like I wanted to have. Even though the mixing quality is good, but I still was unhappy with the production attempt itself. That means if your song sounds terrible, then maybe it's not because of your bad mixing abilities. Maybe it's because of your chosen sounds, your song structure and so on. Because even the best mixing engineer isn't able to make a good mix from a poorly produced song. And every time when I show my latest songs to the people, of course, some of them found it was good, but some of them criticized me, and this was kinda very disappointing for me, because I took a lot of effort into my projects, I took a lot of time in it, and then people mean that this song didn't succeed for some reason. All of this happened in 2018, 3 years ago. This was the year where I was very, very busy with my high school exams and I hadn't enough time to produce new music. Well, I still tried to make songs regularly and I more or less made it actually, but I wasn't really that productive like I wanted to be. But I still made some songs. Retrospectively, my music sounded very childlike, childish back then. I thought I produced dubstep, but it sounded like child step. It sounded like being produced by a little child. I see, I forgot my neckerchief. Where is it? Let's continue on. Why did my songs sound like being produced by a little child? Well, I guess it is because in this time I refused to design the dubstep sounds with the Serum VST instrument, because it costs me a lot of money. So because all the established dubstep producers out there were using Serum, I still use native instruments massive. But I guess it was not a great idea because I just limited myself. I limited my creative potential. Unfortunately, I got an enormous writer's block, and this writer's block didn't allow me to continue on with music. By the way, you can actually find all my childish dubstep music that have been published 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago on my SoundCloud page and also on my YouTube channel. In 2018, I used to produce with FL Studio for my music productions. But in the end of 2018, I tried to produce with a new DAW called Logic Pro X. But unfortunately, I had no idea how to operate it because I was confronted with a different software, with a new user interface, with new tools to utilize and so on. That was overwhelming for me, and then I gradually neglected music production because I had different problems in my life. Until I almost stopped producing music in the end of 2018, begin 2019. 2019 was very stressful for me. In this year, 2019, I had a job to get some money because I wanted to study at the university in the winter term. And in order to study there, I needed to move out from the parents' house, and that's why I needed some money, because I didn't want to work parallel to university while studying in the first semester. That means I could fully focus on my education without working somewhere else parallelly. Because of my very exhausting job in 2019, I was barely able to get the time to sit on the PC and produce new music. I felt kinda uncomfortable and anxious when I tried to make a new song. When I finally got enrolled in the university, and then I finally moved to my first apartment. By the way, this is still the same apartment where I still live here. Huh? I had the hope that I could start producing music again, because I could be a bit louder, because I live alone in an own apartment finally. I was always careful when I produced music in my parents' house, because I was too loud sometimes with my music. Even my neighbors complained about the high volume. And I had no headphones back then. My old headphones broke, and so I needed to rely on my speaker monitors that you can that you may see in the background. But for some reason I wasn't able to start producing new music in my new apartment. I had enough time, but I still couldn't produce music. Why? I guess it is because I didn't want to try to make loud music to set the volume on the high level. I was anxious about disturbing my neighbors, because I already made this experience in my parents' house with the loud volume. That is paradox for some reason. In 2019, when I didn't make anything special in my life except starting to study at the end of the year, I finished only 2 songs, something like this. And I'm not really happy with them. But in 2018, where I was very busy with my high school exams, I still regularly produced music and I finished up to about 7 songs. In 2020, I was still someone who had no hobbies. Music used to be my hobby back then, but because of all the circumstances that happened the past 2 years, music didn't feel like a hobby to me anymore. Yeah, and I was nearly about to give up music production. That's why I didn't make new songs between 2019 and 2020. It was a very stressful and awful time for me. I suppose that a lot of people thought that I gave up with music production entirely, that I buried my music career and that I will never produce any new music anymore. I personally also couldn't imagine to start over with music again. But fortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, okay? A fortune in 2020, I had the opportunity to participate on several free webinars about professional music production, mixing and mastering and so on, you know? And those webinars were for free. And with the knowledge from the webinars, I was about to gradually get more and more interested into music production again. I then decided to make some new steps. I bought all the needed software that I needed for my music career. For example, new VST instruments like Serum or plugins by FabFilter, by Isotope and so on. And I bought a new DAW called Ableton Live. This is what I still use it. After watching tutorials and getting used to music production, I then finally could integrate music production in my everyday life again. And since then, I was able to do new music finally. In the end of 2020, I set a new goal for 2021. My goal for this year, for the current year, is to start producing music again, to make new videos on YouTube, and to make live streams on Twitch. Yeah? And I was like, I wanna be successful with my music and I wanna feel comfortable with my projects. I only produce music that I like and not because it's in the trend for some reason. Yeah. So I personally would say that I would play my Resurrect song on a DJ festival. I promised myself, take the opportunity, it's now or never. Since then, I've been producing new music and videos for you. Me and my music resurrected from the death. Almost everyone thought that my interest for music production died, but then with my will I could bring my music out of death. And this was the story why I decided to call my first song in this year Resurrect. Also, this song is available on all music stores like Apple Music, Spotify, Beatport, Tidal, etc. Nah? Okay everybody, today is Saturday. I actually don't upload videos on Saturdays, but today is a special day because this is a very special video that I uploaded today. Because I immediately wanted to tell you all the detailed story behind the choosing of the song title of my latest song. I chose the title of the song wisely. The actual making of video will come tomorrow, on Sunday. So stay tuned. Okay everybody, I guess that's pretty much it. If you like this video then thumbs up. If you don't like, thumbs down. I don't care, it's up to you. Share this video with your friends and leave a comment in the comment section. This is for the algorithm. And as I said before, share this video with your friends. But you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you don't have friends. Then we will be friends. That's it, I'm done.
Huh?